Hey traders from around the world, this is Jerremy Alexander Newsome with Real Life Trading. Hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. So I actually rarely do this, and let me refer to what this is. Bring out a giant special announcement on a particular stock or something. It's not something I do that often. And the reason I don't do it that often is because really all trades can wait, but I'm more or less doing this for historical evidence, I guess, if you will, so that you could kind of check back in the future and say, oh, cool, this analysis is pretty good. This guy's, he knows who he's talking about. So what I want to update us on right now is silver and maybe some commodities in general, but mostly silver. And I want to focus on silver for just a moment because I am trading silver today and looking at this gap on ticker symbol SLV, which is the ETF that tracks silver. This gap, my friends, is the bearish confirmation gap, in my opinion. Meaning, I am 99.99% sure that silver will, in fact, make a lower low. Almost at this point, yeah, I mean, almost 100%, as close as I can possibly get. I'm going to be buying puts on silver, and I'm going to be placing some stops. So my stops on silver are going to be approximately right in this gap, somewhere right about here. 1483. So why is this gap so strong? Well, notice the strong support. Very, very strong support at about 1450, and we've bounced off there once, twice, 3 times a lady. We've bounced off this before, is what I'm saying. But today, we gap down. Not only do we gap down, but we open below all the supports. We trap all the people who bought in the last few days, and we trap anyone who's been buying and dollar cost averaging down at these levels, which I know there absolutely have been some of those. So we have the volume, we have the gap, we have the candle, we're breaking support, RSI, which is an indicator that stands for Relative Strength Index. It actually has a little bit of room to move. So RSI is at 14, right? So it's low. I agree with that. And there's obviously the opportunity that it could and likely will retrace just a tad. So here's the hourly chart on SLV. And if we come into the hourly, we can see nice high wave white candle, some volume. Probably do something like this. And if it lasts a day or two and starts rolling over at all, I absolutely would be more bearish and bullish. I'm going to be watching it very, very closely for an entry. Here's a 5-minute chart. And I'm actually watching the 5-minute chart for an entry now, which it might not get me one, which is fine, but I'm interested to take it below the low of this bullish candle right here. So the more we trade up and the more we start rolling over on SLV, I do in fact think this is a bearish gap. Now, I don't think silver goes to zero from this gap, but I think in the next few months to weeks, $10 is a very, very possible target. $10, believe it or not. Maybe it could stop somewhere in the $12 or $11 range. You know, I'm not necessarily hung up on the $10, but I could say almost for height, again, almost 100% certainty that we at least make a lower low, right? We at least go lower than we are today. So I don't know if that means anything, but I will be trading silver, and maybe I'll be making an update video for you guys in the near future, but I'll be watching it, keeping a close eye on it, and setting up some trades on silver. If we hop over to SLW, silver, Wheaton. This is another phenomenal example. This gap today was what's called a perfect gap and go for my day traders out there. So a phenomenal, just insane gap. You gapped below this pivot, you gapped below this pivot. Last 2 days were a flag, and not only were they a flag, but you had white candles, meaning they were trapping people. Here is the hourly chart. So the hourly has a white candle as well, which is, meaning it's trapping people. Here's the 15-minute, which is a white candle, and here's a 5-minute, which is a white candle. So this is a perfect gap and go. So here's how this morning I was looking at silver. If you do a perfect gap and go, everything was just phenomenal about it, and you're day trading it, you look at the 1-minute chart. And when you look at the 1-minute chart, I was watching the 1 minute, and here is your 1 minute high, 1 minute low. Entry could have been right about there. Stop at that point could have been about the high of the day. That was entry number 1, possibly. The most conservative entry and really a very, very easy. It's only 10 cents of risk. No-brainer entry on silver Wheaton was just an absolute decimation. It was a home run. Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron home run. Or the absolute tightest you could have done. Here's your evening star reversal. Bearish entry right below that low, so about 1660. Stop at about 1675, 1674, somewhere right around there. Also, obviously, just absolutely train wreck to this stock today. So there is silver. and there is silver Wheaton. And I'm keeping a very close eye on a lot of metals at this exact moment in time. So it'd be interesting to see what's going on, because oil and things like that are also just absolutely plummeting. Here's gold. Now, gold does have some support left. So the $10 range, if you will, on gold has not been broken yet. So there's a support, there's a support, there's a support. So it's still pretty decent overall. If we go over to ABX, I wanted to close on ABX above 1091 yesterday. And if we hop over here to the hourly chart, you can see the last 2 hours of the day was actually below 1091. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with my 345 Eastern rule. So if I'm waiting for a close, the stock has to be above or below my end of day trigger by 3:45 Eastern Standard Time, and ABX was not. So on ABX, I did not personally get triggered into that trade. It did not close with my trigger, but again, it is at a decent support, and if ABX closes below 1001, personally, I'd be a little bit more bearish than bullish overall. Since we're here on the market, might as well look at a few more things. SPY, same thing. So on the SPY, I have a bearish, or at least more bearish than bullish trigger at 205.06. So you're going to see if we're going to close below that particular price. And yeah, just simply more bearish than bullish. It doesn't mean I'm going to buy puts or anything, which I'm not on SPY, because there's some support right here at about 204.61. Got some support down here about 203 with this gap. Now, the interesting thing is we are closing below some long-term moving averages. So I think at this point on SPY, we probably do make it down to 201.85, or at least there's a good chance of doing that. And it's interesting to see how that all plays out. Here's ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil, another oil that closed, oil company, closed below our bearish trigger on the 1st of July, retested the last 2-3 days and is making some lower lows and lower highs. ConocoPhillips, this is a trade that Tina Rowley and a few others got into bearish. Bearish entry was closed below 60.28. Close happened on the 1st of July, and I mentioned on this swing trade plan that Tina was looking to enter bearish. Possible chance of a small retest tomorrow. So there was the small retest tomorrow, just one day, continue down lower. Beautiful, beautiful gaps. Oils and commodities probably going a little bit lower overall, at least that's my thought. And I'm interested to see what happens. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, have a great day. I'll talk to you guys later. You rock. I love you. And until next time, love life, live life, trade it. See ya.